You share my Josephine, yeah?
Okay, live now. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Start.
Okay, good morning on a Saturday. I know this is the beginning of a new year. I hope everybody can hear me well. T can hear me well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you. This is going to be my first live of this year. And Josephine Louis, an image educator and image guru of First Image Training. So today, like I said, it's our very first live show. I used to be doing something impromptu. Everybody knows I can just surprise you with an every week live, or you might just see me once in a while. So this year, perhaps I thought once in every 1 month is good. And you know very well, most of my guests, I invite people, mainly my associates of image consultants, image professionals. Sometimes it could be someone that might give you some other inspiration. I have a lot of plans in mind. And thank you very much to T. T is the producer of the show. So all the time, without her, I'm not going to do anything because I'm a low techno person. I can train, I can teach, I'm very talented, knowledgeable. But when it comes to techno, not too bad. I can only do a little bit of video, but I depend T a lot. Thank you very much, T, for bringing us in. So, people, how is your 2021? I know a lot of us are saying, gee, we're going to put away 2020. You know, if there are issues, the issues may not just stop. There is no fence, nothing to fence up whatever issues. The only thing is how we look into things positively. If one way we can do it, what about way two? What about way three? What is your contingency plans? What are your alternatives? Who do you work with? Who you can work together with the rest? Okay. I do hope all of you have a brilliant start for the year. That is why this particular topic begin with the end in mind. I was talking to this gorgeous lady, whom I only recently found her in Facebook, but it's not just now that I know her. Yeah. Uh, she's my special guest today. She is someone who is already in the market for 30 over years, right? Of course, you might say, oh, what 30 years ago, how we start the business, or how people behave 30 years ago, and now it's different. I agree. But somewhat the values are there in ourselves. That is something that we don't throw away, we don't forget, because our roots, our values are always there. And because she is someone who has such a rich experience, how can we not pick some inspiration from her? For me, I'm a baby, in fact, quite a baby. To some, I can be a veteran, but I can be a baby to a lot. I'm only 13 years old. I mean, in this in this business. Okay, so what are your plans this year? 2021, 2022, 2023. Sometimes we don't want to see too far. Let's look at the next 12 months. Are you thinking of a new startup? Are you thinking about acquiring new skills? Because skills is something in you. Nobody can take that away. There are so many types of different skills that you can find today. So what are, because skills is something.
Sorry. Yeah.
Someone is talking.
Oh, no, in phone. It's okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where are you moving to a new environment? When I say move to a new environment, could be, okay, you might be staying in a heavy invested property. Now you want to have better plans because you need reserves. Are you moving into a place that is further away from the city, or are you having a new job, or are you planning to get married? These are what I call new environment. So whatever you do, because all of us are different. One man's meat is another poison. Whatever you do, you just need to be very clear your vision. You must know your purpose. So begin with the end in mind. When you're very clear what you want to do, when you have this vision at the end of the journey, what do you want to see? That is how you're going to plan your journey, your route within that 12 months, 24 months. Even we want to go to a new place. How do we get to that new place? There are roads that we pay toll and a shorter cut. Or are you so confident that you can reach a place because you're very familiar with the road, whatever it is? Yeah. So when you begin with the mind, when you begin your mind, uh, where you want to go, where is the ending point, then your job is very much easier. So I'm going to bring in my special guest today. Who is my special guest? You will not forget her name. Her name is Ginger Burr, Burr, right? How can you forget the name Ginger, right? You know very well, Ginger, it has got umpteen limitless health benefits. So if you have a name, it's so easily remembered and it gives you all the benefits. Well, Ginger will always be in my mind. And
Okay.
yes,
So,
and who is Ginger Bear? Hello, Ginger. Good morning, Ginger. And who is Ginger Bear? Let me give you a little bit of what I know about her. Ginger is um, Ginger is the president of Total Image Consultants. You might want to know what is this company all about. Ginger is a fabulous woman who helped people globally to create a wardrobe. Wow, we love women just want to look good, right? To create a wardrobe they love by connecting their inner sense. So this is interesting. What does inner sense means to me or you? We learn from Ginger later. Ginger is a graduate of from Mount Holyoke College. She is an author. Go and get her book, whether it's in Amazon, because Malaysia, unfortunately, we are quite limited in our number of books, but you can go to Amazon, you can go to, there's a book deposit, something like that, right? Yeah. The name of her book is So You. I love this title. Create a look you love with beauty, style, and grace. How wonderful. So Ginger being in the limelight and in what she's doing over 30 years, obviously you could imagine the number of interviews that she had with international broadcast stations like Fox Magazine, World Magazine, Fox and Bloomberg TV stations. I welcome Ginger. Thank you, Ginger, to be with me this morning.
Thank you, Josephine. It's a pleasure to be here.
Me too. It's such a pleasure for me. Ginger, what made you take up this career? Now it could be 30 years ago. We don't care because like I said, the value in us, the passion in us will drive us automatically to do something that we know we will do it well for a start, better and better and better over the years. This is what I felt because I will also be sharing a little bit of what I do. But so, what about you, Ginger? Did you actually immediately begin an image career, or did you work first?
Well, I had always had an interest in makeup and fashion. Although, as I say, you never would have known that to look at me because I grew up in a small town. I grew up at a time when there weren't makeover TV shows. There was none of the things that we see now that really help to inspire us around fashion and style. And no one around me was particularly interested in fashion. I mean, everybody looked nice, but nobody was super interested in it. And, so I didn't really get into fashion and style until I was.
So embarrassing. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I didn't really get into this industry until I was almost 30. So I was a music major in college. And then when I got out of college, I worked for a while, not just sort of floundering a little bit. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to find anything that had to do with image and style. I actually, soon after college, I went to modeling school for a few months because I thought, well, maybe I'll learn about fashion and style there, which I didn't. It was an interesting experience, and I'm not model material, but I was hoping that I could learn more about the industry, but that didn't pan out. And I struggled a lot with my personal style and how I looked. And it wasn't until I was just about to turn 30 that I met a woman who was training image consultants. We didn't really use that term then, but that's what she was doing in color and makeup and style. And I was fascinated, absolutely fascinated. She was doing a 3-day workshop, and I signed up immediately. As soon as I heard about it, I signed up. And I pretty much started my business. I begged her to become my mentor and to train me. And I pretty much started my business shortly after that with her guidance. And I've never looked back. I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah. You see, this is still what is happening right now, because it's how people motivate us. We are being inspired by a certain personnel, and we just want to be like them. And in fact, making someone looking good, this is really our profession. And I must say, it's so noble in such a sense. We may not be a lawyer or an accountant, but even these are the people seek our professionalism, because I'm sure different strokes for different folks. Yeah. So all our clients come differently. So I will see, and then from there you work and you progress. For me, just to share a little bit, I have been working 25 years in my life in the corporate. So I am every boss blue-eye girl. Not because I know how to work around them, but one of my motto is do more than is expected. I think this is the value until today. I hold it very close to my heart. Even when I do training with my graduates, I do more than I expected. So because of that, all my bosses love me. Unfortunately, we have to face reality. So when I was 48, by the way, this year I'm turning. Can you see my hand? Yeah, it's left and right. By the way, this year I am turning 60. This is my 60th decade. So imagine 25 years you are working, 13 years in the image consulting business. So what I did was, when you are in your late 40s, I was 48, those days, right, our retirement age for women, it's for everybody, in fact, is 55. And now they have extended to 60 for some reasons. We do not wish to probe. So at 55, but you are in your late 40s, you are deemed to be pretty matured for your age. So at the end of the day, it was such a silly thing of me that I was running 5 departments. Yeah, all this while I'm in the beauty and fashion industry. So I was with this French. I love French products anyway. So I was running 5 departments like a brand manager to do marketing, sales, operations, training, and PR. I never regret because training is always my forte. I've always in training. I've been working with Chanel for 8 years. So I love training. Why? Because I find that training is a job. I do not like to put myself in front of the limelight. I always prefer to be at the back of a supporting role. So I prefer the supporting role. And training means when you train so many people, the things that they get from you, it cannot be measured. Yeah. For instance, when I work for people, I train them how product knowledge. I train them customer service. I train them grooming. Whatever it is really to sharpen their saw. So when their saws are sharpened, look, we guide and we help them to make more commission. So they bring back more money. So this is really my purpose of being training. So I never let go training. But in my last job, I was in this department where I worked 5 years. So operation is nothing new to me. I spend 11 hours every day working in the office. I start late. I will start from like 10 and I will be the last person to lock up the office at 11 p.m. So there's no life for me. There's no friends for me, no boyfriends for me. So I'm practically married to my job. So imagine at the age of 48, and I remember that was a huge crisis where I think the petrol, or was it, maybe it's the oil and gas, I remember. It was a huge thing at that time, was a financial instability. And when I left my job, like I said, because I took care of 5 departments. So I told my boss, can I relieve some of the department? I'm going to bring someone in to help me so that we work in synergy. But eventually this person took over my place. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you are in the corporate sector, there are people who fight, there are people who lose, there are people who gain. But when you are in the corporate, you get your monthly salary. This is some price that you have to pay, I would say, Even up to today, the politics, just cannot imagine. So I was practically thrown out of my job. So when I was thrown out of my job, maybe I'm not as lucky as Ginger, right? Fear poured in and I was hospitalized for pneumonia. So exactly right now, with this pandemic, it starts, it's like pneumonia. I know how difficult it is. And when you get at those days when I was hospitalized with pneumonia, they do not know what you are. They categorize you as tuberculosis first because it's about the chest, right? So why I got into such a difficult situation, in fact, it's how we put ourselves in that situation. You have to understand your own health, right? You have to understand your own well-being. I was practically fear, FEAR, because I spent half my earning to take up image consulting course. I came back, you got to start a business and I have nothing left in the bank. So practically almost zero. How am I going to live in the next 6 months? In fact, if the situation right now and the situation before is totally different in my mindset. Now, the pandemic, I would say, I'm sure maybe Ginger might be able to tell me what is the situation right now. I mean, in your part of the world, we are 13 hours apart. Ginger from Massachusetts, we are this Asian part. Of course, every state, every place would have your own, setbacks. So for me, right now, I'm just being honest. It doesn't mean, with this pandemic, I have people flowing into my, my website, or I'm doing unlimited fake digital consultation. I must say, not really. Well, of course, we do have some, but it's not really. So meaning it's not as favorable, it's not as good during good days that we can do face-to-face. So, but now my mindset is no longer fear, F-E-A-R, because when you are fear, you put all these kind of negative cells into yourself. My hospitalization pneumonia gave me it's a very expensive lesson, because today, those days I can run up a treadmill 50 minutes non-stop. Now, after my pneumonia, I go up to the treadmill for 5 minutes, I'm panting. So that's a big price for you to exchange the fear in you. So now it's difficult time. Everybody is very difficult. But my mindset right now is, okay, there's some disappointment. Definitely, there's some disappointment. There is some sadness. But what can I do to make myself rise up again? Is there something that I can do? Yeah, there are certain things, maybe you don't get the money back, but there are certain things that the money will come later, but this is a time that you have to prepare yourself, right?
Right.
So, Ginger, during this pandemic, is there something, when was US lockdown? We were March 18th.
Yeah, we were just about a week after that. So I think around the 23rd of March. Yes.
So how did this pandemic affect you and your business? And how did you overcome it, or how did you make the best use of it?
Well, before the pandemic, the majority of my work was with private one-on-one clients. A lot of them local, although I've worked virtually for many years, but a lot of it was virtual. I mean, a lot of it was in person, and it was March. So for us, we were just about to go into our heavy shopping and wardrobe season for spring and summer.
Okay.
And of course, when the lockdown happened, everything came to a screeching halt. You know, I couldn't see any clients. I wasn't allowed to, and I didn't know when I would be able to. And so I went from having a totally packed schedule to nothing on the schedule. And so what I did, I had for a long time wanted to create a live online class, an online class that I teach live to people, not just a class that people can go and take on their own and do at their own pace. This is one that I would teach live. And so that's what I did. I sat down, I thought about, so what are the things that women struggle with in their wardrobe? And I created a 6-week class where each week we deal with a different issue. And
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I started that a couple of weeks later. I hadn't even completely pulled together the entire class yet, but I announced it, I launched it, and I had a really amazing group of women who came to it. And it's been popular. I've been doing it about every 8 weeks. It's a 6-week class, so about every 8 weeks I start a new session. I just this past Wednesday started my 5th session of it, and it's so much fun. It allows me to connect with women, with more women. I can work with more women, and I'm just working one-on-one. And I have the technology to be able to do that. I mean, I think we're very blessed that we have technology with this pandemic. Imagine if we didn't, and how totally isolated we would feel. I know a lot of people are like sick of being on Zoom and tired of, connecting this way. But if we didn't have this, what would we have? How would we be able to stay in touch with people? So I'm very thankful for the technology that we have. And with the pandemic, my goal really is to look for the silver lining. I believe in no matter what happens in the world, what happens to us in our lives, no matter how bad it is, we can always find something that's positive about it. And so for me, in the beginning, I was able to create this class that I've always wanted to create and serve a lot more women than I could have otherwise just working one-on-one.
Brilliant. Now, Ginger, you just mentioned that the technology and you were tired with Zoom. I was thinking, did you do it with Zoom? If you don't do it with Zoom, what's the technology that you work with this number of people, and how many can your class comes in?
Well, I do use Zoom for my class. And
so it's Zoom, right?
I'm sorry?
So it is Zoom, right? You use Zoom, right?
Yeah, it works perfectly. I've had no problems with it at all. And I have anywhere between 15 to 30 women in the class. It varies each session. Yeah, and they can ask questions. We interact a lot. It's
Right.
fun. And I have women from all over the world who have joined the class. So
I see. Okay, Ginger, you were saying 6 weeks, meaning this 6 weeks, how long is the session where the ladies are actually paying you 6 weeks in one go? Or is it one session where you have 6 different groups of girls?
no, it's the same group of women who are there every week for 6 weeks.
So it's like a course, right? So it's like a styling.
Yes.
I guess in your part of the world, styling and fashion, it's quite lucrative in a sense that it's not just your part of the world. Anywhere that has 4 seasons, like even in China. Like in China, somebody put me a question, like, when every season they need to change color and they need to change the style, and people will just put their clothes under the wardrobe, under their bed or whatever it is, and then how they work. So, but over those few countries like ours, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, we are 12 months summer. Love to, right? Yes, we are about 32 degrees most of the time. We only have monsoon season. We call it's where heavy downpour.
Yes.
So we either have more rain or we are very hot. So it's a love-hate relation. So we only have 2 seasons here.
One of my clients is in Singapore, so she said it's hot here. We're hot. So
right. So Ginger, you have clients. I mean, it's not just an image consultant. You can be a consultant in whatever job that you have. So how did a consultant, thousands of miles away, different culture, to get Asian customers, or Asian customers, we're going to get European, Eastern customers. How can we get such customers? Because digital is a wonderful thing for us to gain more people that we cannot touch, right? So how did you do that?
So naturally, I am an introvert. I'm a fairly quiet person. I know it's sometimes hard to tell when I'm teaching or I'm here talking like this, but generally
introvert. Introvert. No. Yes. Look at Ginger's earring, and you see how interesting it is. You look at the queen's what do you call that?
Oh, I know.
Neckline, and I'm always struggling with my hair. You look at Ginger at any time when you look into her Facebook, gosh, you can see her groomed, her tresses are always in place. So you call this an introvert?
Well, yeah, it's
quite drama.
And so I knew that when I started my business, websites and technology was really just starting kind of back then. And when I discovered websites, 30 years ago or whatever, I realized this was a great way for people to get to know me. But in order to get to know me, they had to be able to find me. And so one of the things that I learned about early on in the world of technology is that it's really important to do search engine optimization on your website. And when you do that and people put in the search words that are, that you have on your site, your website will come up high in the search engines. And so I did search engine optimization. I spent quite a bit of money doing that. But now I come up high when people are searching for certain keywords, they find me. So people all over the world are actually able to find my latest client is from Alaska. So, you know, they're from all over, and it's really important to be able to be found. There are billions of websites out there. You have to be able to separate yourself from everybody else.
Right. So I picked up something Ginger says with the optimization of the search engine SEO. But of course, today again, people are talking about the social media hashtags, because T, who is my partner, keeps saying, don't forget hashtag every day. So it's like the words, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I picked up one word from Ginger. You have mentioned a couple of times is technology. Now, people who are watching us, I welcome you with questions for Ginger or me. Yeah, please put in your questions. Yes, because it's very early here. So, Ginger have mentioned the word technology. Ginger, are you a high techno person or a lower techno person? I'm low, I must say. Yeah.
I'm medium.
Medium.
I do have a technology person who handles all the more complicated parts of my technology, but so I'm kind of in the middle there somewhere.
Okay, what I see is I think you have given me a lot of motivation. Let me tell you, during the pandemic, this is something I did during the pandemic. Basically, I'm a very lazy person when it comes to business. I'm just too complacent. Okay, I shouldn't use the word lazy. It's negative. It's complacent. Huh? So I just wait and see. But what I felt did me well was, since we cannot go out, so I reflect myself. What is the worst thing I ever like to do in my work? Because I keep doing my work. I have to be very thankful. Like I said, for me, being a complacent person, I don't promote myself as in so many people. And I always believe that whatever I say, it has to be true to myself. Whether you like me, you hate me, this is me. I mean, I'm not putting in a different picture to show you, all right? So most of my students who come for my courses, my clients, a lot of them are based on word of mouth. Word of mouth. Therefore, even I go to train corporate training, I do whatever it is, I always tell people there are three things in your mind when you want to start a business. Number one is definitely you cannot run away. You have to find a school to learn your foundation. Whatever you want, whatever business that you want to start off, right? When I say go to a school, foundation is make sure the school is good. And of course, even before you go to the school, what are the preparation you have before? It's like, look, you may have a passion for makeup, all right? You may have a passion for makeup. I want to be a makeup guru one day. So I want to start from foundation to creative makeup to whatever it is. You may have your passion, but if you have shaky arms or whatever, or you are not confident enough to create a look for people, so you have to know where is your strength, right? For me, I love to talk. I love to train. So this is practically my forte. So one day you throw me on stage, you just give me a topic, I can speak anything. I used to go to Toastmasters as a guest, and I always get their table topic champion. So it's like, okay, this is my strength. When I want to go into a business, surely I want to train, I want to showcase, and I have a lot of confidence on the stage. So that is not just my passion. My passion is to educate people, not just training, is to educate. Number two, it's my strength. I'm confident in front of people. All right, you see people. But I'm never confident in front of a camera. So I hated the camera. I really hated. And I was telling myself, I am a good trainer, right? If I can speak in front of people, why can't I speak in front of the camera?
Yeah.
But I just don't like myself. So during this pandemic, I did so many videos.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm very thankful. I'm very blessed. I have people who say, Joe, you want help or not? So I actually got help from people without having to pay. Some I paid because I believe in paying people so that the money is aliago money. You pay out, people will pay you in. I believe what goes around comes around. So I pay people to do some editing of commercials that I have. But I start using a good mobile phone, and a lot of people actually help me to do editing. But after a while, this is what all of us also need to do. While people can help you, you cannot just depend on people to do everything for you. So I picked up doing my little video thing. This advertisement is everything I learned from Viva Video. So during this pandemic, I think it did me well is I begin to like myself in front of the camera and just be my normal self.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be overly fake, but sometimes your phone can just beautify your face without your permission. Okay, so that's nice. So that was something that I learned. Then why I say Ginger gave me inspiration. People, let me tell you, when I graduate from my school, as even my graduates today do the same, I know. First thing, okay, you're very excited, but you learn your foundation, you want to learn more, right? So you start Google and look into who are the other teachers globally who I can secretly learn from you. Also, I read a lot of what bloggers write, but today I keep telling my students and my graduates, or you can be a lady, not just image consultant, you can be somebody else. Yes, you will Google. It's God. That's why I say the button Google also starts with G. So, however, different people have different opinion. So sometimes bloggers, because they are speaking about a product, they may not be 100% sure talking about, like colors, how autumn flows into spring, or, winter, summer, or whatever it is. Still, whoever is the expertise, it's definitely the right person rather than just people who write, right? But it's good because we gather point of interest. So Ginger was, in fact, the first person I found after I graduate. So Ginger is, in a way, my virtual mentor. So you see, at that time, 2008, it was in the year 2008. Of course, there's Facebook, not many people go into Facebook. You never hear about Instagram, right? Your Insta. So email. So I got to know Google email, and then Ginger will send me her newsletters. Then I was like, scratching my head. Do I have to do this when I start my business? And you know how I got to hear Ginger? She even sent me audio clips. Those days, no video. So it was audio clips, and I got to know Ginger is a vegan. So I was following, so to speak, at that time. The following is just the email that comes from Ginger. So Ginger Bear is a name that I was hoping to meet her in Vancouver in the year 2010. Or even 2011, I was in Orlando. 2015, I was in Washington, but I didn't get to meet Ginger. But it's okay. Today, you see, patience is a virtue. I say, one day I must meet Ginger. So I'm very thankful, Ginger, for your inspiration over for me. Yeah. And I want one more thing to ask Ginger. Because in your bio, you mentioned inner sense. Can you tell us something about what inner sense means to you? It might not just relate to image. It might relate to anybody else, especially during this time. There are people lost their jobs. There are people chin up. We have we have hopes for a new beginning. there are people who are very optimistic that how does the inner sense can further help us strengthen our perception, strengthen our, what do you call that? Our, just inner sense. How can inner sense help people today to strive? I don't like the word strive. I prefer the word thrive, right? How can Ginger use inner sense to enable people to thrive further in the next 12 months at least?
Yes. Well, one of the things that I firmly believe, especially related to image, but I think it seeps out into other parts of our lives as well, is that it's important for each of us to be authentic and be truly ourselves. But a lot of times what happens is that, and I work exclusively with women, so I know this from the viewpoint of women. As women, we don't always have a true sense of who we are on the inside, of what our, I call it inner beauty or your inner essence, that part of you that is only you, that makes you you. And so what I help women to do is to really access that part of themselves, and then to take that information, so to figure out whether there's somebody who's naturally joyful or radiant or strong or passionate or intense or whatever it might be, to figure out who they are, put words to that, and then use that information to create a wardrobe that feels authentically like themselves. Because that way they are projecting who they are out there into the world. People are picking up that energy. And even more importantly, it's making or helping them to boost their own self-confidence. Because when we dress in a way that reflects who we are, we feel empowered. And that's always my, and I'm sure yours too, that's always my goal, is to help women to feel amazing, to feel confident, to feel empowered. And I think then when we do that, we're more likely, the way it seeps out into the rest of our lives is we're more likely then to take a risk or to try something new or to put ourselves out there rather than just fading into the woodwork. We're more likely to allow ourselves to stand out. And I think when something like what's been going on in the world now with the pandemic, it's even more important that we feel that sense of just a satisfaction with who we are and a joy in who we are, and that we're able and willing to put that out into the world. And so part of my job is to help women to go deep and figure out who they are and express that inner essence through their clothing.
It's something like a life coach in that sense.
Yeah.
And couple with looking and dressing well. Because people say at this time I don't even go out. You see, the more you do not want to do something, the more you should do something. When I went to a makeup class, my makeup teacher tell me, I said, one of the weakness is about drawing my eyebrow. I can do very well this side, but this side, it's always a problem. Then he tell me, do the problem part first. Yeah. No, I started to do the easy part first, So whatever it is, thank you so much, Ginger. What I hear from her about innocence is so important, being authentic, be with joyful people so that you're being empowered. You have to boost your confidence and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
All right. I think friends are very important, to speak to, spend time for yourself. For me, it's maybe this year onwards, I thought about going into a little bit more spiritual already, getting to know myself more and influencing other people around you. One of the things, like I said, Ginger influenced me a lot. It's not just virtually when I first know her through email. Even right now, I think I went into image consulting and, I have to say this is my, I'm going to say this is my talent. This is my innate ability. I'm very creative. I would want to create new things. So once I get into the business for like many years, I kind of like forgotten to get in touch with all these gurus until recently I saw Ginger again in a Facebook. And one of the things Ginger really influenced me is she is already someone in the image industry. She is already a renowned guru, but she borders to really do her little fashion show at your corridor. I was like, gosh, I stuck onto her. And because are you an autumn girl?
Yes.
Because maybe during the autumn time, she was wearing autumn clothes and now, wow, it was so gorgeous and fabulous. So why can't I do that? Because sometimes we hold our pride too much. When we hold our pride too much, we don't let go. We lose a lot of opportunities. So people, just do whatever you can and don't be too reserved. Because if you can go all the way out there, break the rules, I always say, try it and do it. But if it doesn't bring you the benefits, okay, try another thing.
Right.
At least the answer is there. The answer is given to you. You try and it's not, then you try a different thing altogether, right? Now, well, we have actually overrun our time. Like I said, people, if you have any questions for Ginger and me, please let us know by now, as we will be wrapping up in another 5 minutes time. So, Ginger, you are someone people look up at. Stay in your business for so many years, and of course the reputation it's it's bombastic in that sense. Is there 2 or 3, or maybe just give us at least 2 points that you would like to tell our viewers now, how to, if you want to build a new environment, you want to build, like I said right at the beginning, what did I say? Okay, if you want to have a new startup, if you want to have a new skill, or you want to have a new you, in that sense, from this year onwards, do you have 2 or 3 points that you would like to share with our viewers?
I often have women who get in touch with me, you probably do too, who say, I want to be an image consultant. And this can be, any field that you want to get into.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? And, I share more specific information about image consulting in general, but I think there are 3 things, and you actually touched on some of these already too, that are really important when you're starting a new endeavor. And one of them is that you have to have a passion for what it is that you want to do, because there will be times when you are following your passion, when you're following whatever it is that you want to do, where it's not fun. There's something you hit a roadblock, something just doesn't go right. If the passion isn't there, you'll drop it and you'll say, forget it. So you need to have a passion for what it is you want to do. You need to have good training. And this is what you were talking about with education. You really, whatever it is that you want to do or be, you need to be well trained in it. You need to make sure that you know what you're talking about and that you're knowledgeable. And the third thing, and this might even be more important than any of them, is that you have to be persistent. And that there will be days when things don't go the way you want them to go, or you try something new and it doesn't work out that well. If you have the passion and you have the training, without the persistence, you'll forget about it and you won't continue. I know that if I had given up the first time something didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I would have stopped being an image consultant decades ago. I was determined to make this work, and I had the persistence. So passion, training, and persistence for anything that you want to do in this life. I think those 3 things are really important.
Right. Thank you. So from what Ginger says, the 3 things, to make a new you for the next 12 months or even 24 months. Follow your passion, so important, right? And good training and be persistent. You know, Ginger, this is what I call synergy.
Yes.
There's some synergy within us. I do have already two points that you have mentioned. And Ginger being a vegan, this is something that I felt so good when I know that she's a vegan. For me, I'm not a vegan, but well, I don't need to eat meat. Yeah, I don't like meat. Oh, okay, don't like, it's a heavy word. I would say I prefer not to eat, and I don't need meat for to live. Anyway, so the three things, like what I used to tell my students, it's number one, you need to have a good school training foundation. Whatever job that you have, maybe you want to draw, you want to learn art, you want to do any other thing. So find a good school, find a good mentor. All right, the mentor is very, very important. The mentor would need to have time for you. The mentor, because whoever you are one day, if you are successful, if I am your mentor, I would even be more happier because I managed to make you someone successful. So that is my pride. So training, it's important. Go to a good school, find a good mentor. Number two for me is credibility. People speak about you. Don't forget, people speak about you. Whether people speak about you in awe or what is different. That's why I always say, would you want to be famous or would you want to be popular? Famous, people can speak about you, but you could be famous for the wrong thing. So your credibility is important. Credibility means go all the way out, like what Ginger says. Go all the way out, try everything. So, but when you do anything, do it with a good cause. Do it with the right purpose, and treat people well and kind. So your credibility is there. So number two is credibility. Number three, like what she said, persistence. She has a better word, persistence. My word was practice. If you don't practice what you learn, you are wasting your money. So these were the three things I always speak about people that I know. And what are you going to be? You're not going to be somebody tomorrow because I went to a good school, because everybody talked good about me. I'm going to start practicing tomorrow. No. I always say one thing before you even begin. It's what have you done before? Hi, Clement. Clement is our very K-pop guy, Malaysian. So what have you done before even you begin a new you? Like what Ginger said, passion. You already have, accumulated your passion. You're ready to go. But remember, it's never too late to start. I always say at 48, I started to become image consultant. People say, what? At 48, you are already about to menopause. I say, look, it's always better to be late than never.
Yeah.
That is always my motto. So diva, I'm always a diva. So I'm always the latest to arrive, all right? Because it's never, it's better to be late than never, but sometimes it works. So before that, what I'm trying to say is two things. Number one is patient, right? Patient means I'm not saying sit down and wait for fortune to drop into you. Wait down and sit there and wait for money, God drop money to you. No. Patient means before you launch something, what have you done? I give you one good example. So people here, we will just give me a few more minutes. When I was working, I was with Chanel for 8 years. So a lot of people knows that I've been in a very top MNC company. So what I did was, there was one young guy who wanted to begin as a makeup artist, right? So at that time, I was with Sisley, a French company. So what I did was, every time when I was meeting with the media means those days you have magazines. Today the media is different. So each time I have, because I was PR, so when I was with the last company, two things I picked up was PR, and I don't really like this, but I picked up PR. So when I started as an image consultant, I had no experience, right? Nobody will want to pay me to do image consulting unless I do free. You know how people always ask you to do free. But what I did was lucky I had an experience. So with my experience, and that's my strength in PR, I did side hustle. So I work with a PR company. Again, this PR company became my boss, right? But before I was her boss, because I run a renowned brand, and she is my she is my vendor. You see, if we treat people good, some people I realize, because you are you are the person who pay money. So if you are paying a vendor, you don't have to treat the vendor well. No, you should treat your vendor extremely well, because your vendor will make your job shine. You want to shine in front of your boss is you treat people well, right? So this lady, whom, you know, we have good connection. So during my downtime, I had no sales, no money. Yeah. So my first name card I remember was a makeup artist. I have to do that because I have to make money, right? So she gave me job. So you see, if I did not have a good relationship with her, or I did not treat her well, why would she want to give me jobs? So with that side hustle to do PR jobs for her, okay, her name is Selena Yong, all right? I might as well mention her name. So she became my boss when I needed money, and she gave me some jobs. So that was something that you did prior to that. Stay in touch with people. That's why I'm trying to say stay in touch with people. And come back to the young guy. What I did was, each time I had meetings with media, I bring this guy in and I introduce the media to him. But of course, this guy has absolutely fantastic PR, and everybody just love him. So he got a lot of jobs from the magazine, and there was from there he built his empire. Today, this guy, I won't use his name, but he has a huge makeup academy. Wow. And did he forget me? He did not. So again, in my first 1-2 years, no money as an image consultant, this guy came to my rescue. So what he did was, he had a fabulous job with Mary Kay. All right. So his company took over Mary Kay's makeup techniques, and because I'm an image consultant, so he appointed me as his manager. I want you to be my manager. Take care of all the Mary Kay girls all over Malaysia. So that was for like 1.5 years. I got paid because it's what you give out is always what you get in return. So I was very blessed that what you did, how you stay in touch with people, how you treated people, people will help you in return. So my first 2 years, I must say, is because of that, I had a little money to spend. So keep my lifestyle low. I don't need to use a lot of money, but constantly I stay in touch with people. That's number one. And the patient part was, like I said, you don't sit there and, money roll to you. Patient means right now, pandemic, my gosh, it's been 11th month. We started March until now. My business is bad. I mean, I'm not fake, right? My business is not good. But what did I do? I excel myself in front of videos, and people say, wow, Joe, I love your video. So, okay, that's something that I learned, and that's something that I've excelled. And constantly my video will have something new, although I'm quite conservative in that. So last part here, thank you for hearing me out, Ginger. Do you have anything new in the next 3 months, or how can people contact you so that they can get in touch with you on your new project, or how they want to know more about you?
So thank you for offering that. They can get in touch with me through my website, which is totalimageconsultants.com, and there's a wealth of information there. I have a tons of blogs you can read. It tells you all about the courses and classes that I have available. And I'm also on Instagram under Ginger Burr, makes it easy. So they can reach out to me there as well. Coming up, my 6-week class just started on Wednesday night. I have a couple people still joining at the last minute because I have recordings for the first class that they can get. And then the class will run again probably early March. So they can always get on the wait list if they're interested in knowing more about the class. But if they go to createyourpersonalstyle.com, they can find out more about the 6-week class and get on the wait list if they don't want to join right now. But that's an ongoing thing.
What is the name of your 6-week class again?
It's called Create Your Personal Style in 6 weeks.
Create your personal style in 6 weeks. So people, this is your best chance of not spending time face to face if you think it is dangerous. So get in touch with an international fashion stylist and image expert to create your personal style in 6 weeks. Now, don't forget, who says during pandemic you don't go out? We are meeting each other, social media.
Right.
I've said, why don't you start doing your little fashion show or speaking in front of the camera? Whatever profession you are, you need to look good. So when you need to look good, who are the people that you need to get in touch with? Ginger Burr is one of the renowned image fashion stylists who will be able to create your personal style in just 6 weeks easily through digital. So find Ginger Burr as in BURR in her Facebook, Total Image Consultants Facebook page, I suppose. Instagram with the same name. Yeah. So the minute you put Ginger Burr in Google, there will be a list of things for you to choose, I have to say. All right. So Ginger, I am so glad, I'm so privileged to be speaking to this virtual mentor of mine some 13 years ago. And of course, myself, Josephine Louis. My company name is called First Image Training. Get in touch with Ginger or me if you wanted to pursue an image consultant course. I'm sure, we teach the same thing, but surely a different delivery of different teachers. So people and Ginger, I really thank you for extending, because we just continue talking and there's so much. We want to learn from each other. We took already an hour and it's very late in Massachusetts. We should not be taking Ginger's time, but we never stop from here, because get in touch with Ginger for all your image, fashion, and style needs. And I will continue looking out for Ginger. And thank you, Ginger, for coming into this show. I wish every one of you out there a good 2021. Start planning. Today is only the 9th of January. It's never too late to start. So you give yourself 9 January 2021 to 9 January 2022. That will give you 1 year. Okay. Thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Ginger, thank you so much. And give kiss and hugs to your cat. All right. Thank you, people. Okay. All right. Are we backstage now? We are backstage now?
No.
Yes.
And